Welcome to Kev's Quizzes. In this quiz, you'll face 100 general knowledge questions. But there's one twist. Every answer starts with the letter A. So test yourself, have fun, and good luck. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss any new quizzes. Question 1. Which Chinese e-commerce company, named after a character from a Middle Eastern folktale, was founded by Jack Ma in 1999? That's Alibaba. Question 2. Which global sportswear brand is famous for its three-stripe logo? It belongs to Adidas. Question 3. Which orange Italian aperitif is globally popular? That bright orange drink is Aperol. Question 4. Which desert is the largest in the world? The Antarctic desert is the world's largest desert because deserts are defined by low rainfall, not temperature. Question 5. What is the chemical name of vitamin C? Vitamin C is ascorbic acid. Question 6. What type of structure is the Colosseum? It's an amphitheatre. Question 7. What plant is used to make tequila? It's made from agave. Question 8. What do you call the scientific study of past human life and culture through unearthed artifacts? That's archaeology. Question 9. What flavour is the traditional Greek aperitif ouzo? That is aniseed. Question 10. Which abandoned American prison is commonly known as the Rock? The prison is Alcatraz. Question 11. What is the longest mountain range in South America? That's the Andes. Question 12. In Marvel Comics, which planet serves as home to beings recognized by humans on Earth as the deities of Norse mythology? Asgard is the home of the Norse gods. Question 13. What celestial rocky objects orbits the Sun, mostly found between Mars and Jupiter? That's asteroids. Question 14. The R8 sports car is manufactured by which brand? The R8 is manufactured by Audi. Question 15. What company did Jeff Bezos found in 1994? He founded Amazon. Question 16. What word is used to describe someone who is able to use both hands equally well? That's ambidextrous. 17. What musical term means an opera song written for a solo performer? It's an aria. Question 18. Which economic term describes a rise in currency value? The term is appreciation. Question 19. Which fruit is distilled to make Calvados? The fruit is apples. Question 20. Tenochtitlan was the capital city of which empire? The Aztec Empire. And 21. What is the term for an animal with pure white skin and hair and pink eyes? It is an albino. Question 22. On the periodic table, what is the chemical symbol for gold? That is AU. Question 23. Referring to a fast or moderate tempo, what musical direction comes from the Italian meaning cheerful? The term is allegro. Question 24. What literary term describes a story with a hidden moral meaning? It is an allegory. Question 25. What literary term refers to a brief reference to another work or event? An allusion is a brief reference to another work, person, or historical event. Question 26. What is the medical term given for significant memory loss? The medical term is amnesia. 27. What term describes government spending cuts aimed at reducing deficits? The term is called austerity. 28. What is the intense irrational fear of spiders called? The fear of spiders is called arachnophobia. On to question 29. What is the geographical term for a ring-shaped coral island? The term is atoll. Question 30. What does the A stand for in ATM? It stands for automatic. Question 31. What is the name of the first letter of the Greek alphabet? Alpha is the first letter of the Greek alphabet. Question 32. What's an eggplant called in the United Kingdom? An aubergine. Question 33. What is the fear of heights called? The fear of heights is called acrophobia. Question 34. What do you call a collection of maps bound together in a book? It is an atlas. Question 35. What do you call a place where beehives are kept for honey production? The place where beehives are kept for honey production is an apiary. Question 36. Which term describes the fear of open or crowded spaces? That is agoraphobia. Question 37. What do you call a light alcoholic drink served before a meal to stimulate the appetite? That's an aperitif. Question 38. Which element is represented by the symbol Al? Al stands for aluminium. Question 39. Burkina Faso is a country on which continent? That's Africa. Question 40. What do you call a device that measures wind speed? An anemometer. Question 41. Which element has the atomic number 89? The element is actinium, a radioactive metal. Question 42. What do you call a yearly publication filled with calendars and astronomical data? An almanac. Question 43. What biological process refers to programmed cell death? Apoptosis is the process of programmed cell death that helps maintain healthy tissue balance. Next is question 44. Derived from Latin, what is the Italian word for love? The Italian word for love is amor. Question 45. What term refers to the original indigenous peoples of Australia? The indigenous peoples of Australia are Aboriginals. Question 46. Which hormone regulates salt balance in the body? That's aldosterone. Question 47. Which sign of the zodiac is represented by a ram? It's Aries. Question 48. What neurotransmitter is primarily responsible for muscle activation? The neurotransmitter is acetylcholine. Question 49. The mountain goat fell is found on which Scottish island? The Scottish island is Arran. Question 50. Canberra is the capital city of which country? That's Australia. You've made it to the halfway point. If you're liking the quiz, give that like button a click. And question 51. Which state did the USA buy from Russia in 1867? Alaska for $7.2 million. Question 52. What term describes a person hired to kill a specific individual? The term is assassin. Question 53. What belief system studies the influence of stars and planets on human life? That's astrology. Question 54. What hazardous material was once widely used for fireproofing, roofing and insulation? That was asbestos. Question 55. What is the largest artery in the human body? That's the aorta. Question 56. Which mountain range stretches across northern Italy and Switzerland? The Alps stretch across northern Italy and Switzerland. Question 57. What word describes something that happens once a year? It's called an annual. And question 58. A bridge too far was based on which World War II landings? That was Arnhem. Question 59. Which organization is headquartered in Addis Ababa? The African Union. We have reached question 60. What ancient Greek mathematician supposedly shouted Eureka after a discovery? The Greek mathematician was Archimedes. Question 61. What accounting term refers to gradual loan repayment? It's called amortization. Question 62. What musical term describes singing without instrumental accompaniment? Singing without instrumental accompaniment is called a cappella. Question 63. Nicomachean Ethics was written by which philosopher? It was written by Aristotle. Next is question 64. Which US city hosted the 1996 Summer Olympics? It was hosted in Atlanta. Question 65. What branch of philosophy studies beauty and art? It is called aesthetics. Question 66. In biblical text, who was the second son of Adam and Eve? The second son was Abel. Question 67. Which is the most northerly of the Channel Islands? That's Alderney. And question 68. What Latin legal phrase means for this specific purpose? The legal phrase is ad hoc. Question 69. What area of math focuses on solving equations with unknown values? That's algebra. Question 70. Which hormone triggers fight or flight? The response is triggered by adrenaline. Question 71. What Macedonian king created one of the largest empires of the ancient world? The king was Alexander the Great. Question 72. What molecule is the cell's main energy currency? Well done if you got adenosine triphosphate. Question 73. What branch of science studies the structure of the human body? That's anatomy. Question 74. What is the largest river in the world by discharge volume? The Amazon River. Next is question 75, and we are 3/4 through the quiz. In which film was the spaceship called the Nostromo? The film was Alien. Question 76. Which city lies further north, Amsterdam or Athens? Amsterdam lies much further north than Athens. Question 77. What instrument does a plane use to calculate its height above the ground? An altimeter. Question 78. What word describes someone learning the alphabet from the beginning? The word is abecedarian. Question 79. What continent has the most countries? That's Africa. Question 80. Which luxury car brand produces the Vantage? It is produced by Aston Martin. And question 81. What naval rank is typically in command of a fleet? That would be an admiral. Question 82. Which investment term means exploiting price differences? Exploiting price differences across markets is called arbitrage. Question 83. What word describes island clusters such as the Maldives or the Philippines? The word is archipelago. Moving on to question 84. What watch brand was founded in 1875 in Le Brassus? The brand is Audemars Piguet. And question 85. In which village is the Archers set? The Archers is set in Ambridge. Question 86. What device does a radio use to receive transmissions? An antenna. Question 87. What blood type is considered the universal recipient? The blood type is AB. Question 88. Which famous US golfer has the nickname the King? That's Arnold Palmer. Question 89. What political ideology supports abolishing the state? Anarchism promotes the abolition of centralized government. And question 90. What term describes a trainee who learns a trade under a skilled worker? The term is apprentice. Question 91. Which empire was ruled by Ashurbanipal? That's the Assyrian Empire. Question 92. Which Grand Slam is played in Melbourne? That is the Australian Open. Question 93. What do you call the man who is the head of an abbey of monks? The head of an abbey is an abbot. Question 94. Which company developed Ryzen processors? It was developed by AMD. Question 95. What movable flap on an airplane's wing helps it bank left or right? It's called an aileron. We are up to question 96. Algiers is the capital of which country? Algiers is the capital of Algeria. Question 97. What do you call a self-written account of a person's life? That's an autobiography. Question 98. What is the driest non-polar desert on Earth? The Atacama Desert is the driest non-polar desert on Earth. Question 99. Who had a UK #1 with black coffee in 2000? That was All Saints. At last, question 100. Globe and Jerusalem are varieties of which vegetable? It's the artichoke. That's it, all 100 questions and answers. What was your score? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed today's quiz, please leave a like and consider subscribing. But above all, thank you so much for watching. See you in the next quiz.